All right, so in today's video, we're going to talk about a concept, and that concept is about making money. And I'm going to teach you how to make money out of thin air. And now I'm sure you're wondering, how do you make money out of thin air? Well, so many years ago, I think this was 2005 or 6, something like that. I was a university student and I stumbled on a book titled How to Make Money Out of Thin Air, and it was by a guy, an Australian. His name is Sher. That's Sher. And I was really intrigued because, I was a university student, right? And if you know something about university students, they always need money. We want money, we want to make money. And of course, I wanted to make a lot of money, and seeing a book that said it was going to show me how to make money out of thin air, like literally just plucking the money out of the air, right? Of course, I was interested and I took the book and I read it, and it absolutely blew my mind because it exposed me to concepts that I didn't even think at the time were possible. So I'm not going to go into the book. You should go find the book on Amazon or something. I'll leave a link below the video. But the most important thing to understand is what I learned from the book and how over the years, new technologies and new knowledge have basically refined this system. And now I'm going to show you how to do it. So how do you make money out of thin air? Basically, you do it by selling information, selling your knowledge, selling your experiences, selling your skills, right? That's how you make money out of thin air. Basically, the concept is that you sell something that is intangible, something that nobody can touch, right? I can touch it, I can smell it, I can taste it, but it's still a product or a service nonetheless. So how do you do it? Now, before now, when people want to sell information or they want to sell their knowledge, their skills, what they do is they write a book, right? So they write a book. Now, of course, this is still thin air, but you take thin air and you condense it and you make it a product, which is a book. And books are still really popular. I read a ton of them every year. And this is how it used to be done. And then eventually, as technology evolved, right, and the TV became very popular and in almost every home, and the video machine became popular, right, people started creating video courses. So, started creating video courses, right? And they created these video courses in the form of VHS tapes. Now, depending on how old you are, you probably don't know what a VHS tape is. It's basically a tape that you slot into a machine and you hook the machine to your TV, and then you view what's on the tape. And then eventually people also took this same information in the book, right? And they created audios in form of cassettes. Again, depending on your age, probably don't know what cassettes are, because these days the way we listen to audio is to stream audio. But back in the day, and I'm not that old, trust me, but back in the day, right, you had to take this tiny little thing and put it inside a cassette player and then listen to the audio. So that's basically how these things were done back then. So book, which is physical, right, you can hold it, right? Physical books, and then video courses, and then tapes. And then people also began to sell this information and all of this knowledge. They began to sell it in person, one-on-one, face-to-face, right? And that's why we have seminars, right? Seminars and conventions. I recently just came back from Egypt. I went to speak at a seminar there as an invited speaker. So this is one other way to sell knowledge. Okay. So books, videos, audios in person. And then as the years rolled round, and we had this magical, wonderful thing called the internet. So the internet was invented and the World Wide Web alongside it. And now everybody has access to the internet. And the internet basically killed cassette video tapes. It also basically killed cassette tapes, right? So now we don't need to pop in a cassette tape or a VHS tape, but we still learn via video. So now we take the raw files, we upload them online to servers, and then basically stream from those servers. So that's basically what the internet has done for us today. So what it means is that right now, today, how you sell or the formats that you sell your information in is basically still books. I don't think these are ever going away, by the way. So books, and then we have video, but this time the videos are online, right? And then we still have audios, and then also the audios are also online. Then we have seminars, right? And then we also now have consulting. So consulting is where you actually take all of this information instead of selling them in these formats, you basically sell it one on one to one person, one at a time. So again, how much you make from any of these formats is dependent on how much information is needed and the clientele. But we're going to get into all of that. So you take your piece of information and you turn it into something that people are willing to pay for. So let's get down into the nitty gritty and let's talk about how to take this information, literally pluck it out of your head. I call the concept selling your brain, right? You take all of the information that you've gathered over the years, maybe your grandparents told you something that is still valuable so many years later, maybe something that you learned from experience, right? You take all of that and you sell it to somebody who finds it useful. Now, the funny thing is that people, and I see this a lot, right? A lot of people will say, how exactly is this a business? How exactly do I make money from it? Well, guess what? What I'm just explaining to you is exactly what the schools you went to did for you. They took information and they sold it to you and they called it a degree. And then, of course, to authenticate it, they give you a certificate when you complete the degree, maybe after 4 years, after 6 years, however long it is, right? But they're basically doing the same thing. They are selling information. They're literally selling air to you, right? So in the same way, you do the same thing. You take your knowledge, you take some specialized piece of information, right? You take a rare info and you sell it to people who want to do it. So the first thing to do if you want to make money out of thin air is that you have to understand that you've got to have information that people want, right? So that's number one. So number one, information, a lot of people, want. Okay? It has to be something that is valuable enough for people to want to pay money for it. And trust me, this is where a lot of people get stuck because now I'm sure you might be thinking in your mind and inside of your head, and you're saying, okay, but I don't have anything somebody's going to pay for. I don't have anything. A lot of people want. And I'm telling you, you might be mistaken. So I'm going to explain to you how to figure out this. And if you don't have it, how to get it without stressing so much over it and without spending any money even over it. So how do you do it? So what you want to do is that instead of saying, oh, I don't have a lot of money, or sorry, or oh, I don't have information that a lot of people want, what you do is you go the old-fashioned way. You take a piece of paper, and then you take a pen, and then you write out everything that you know, every single thing. Just write. Now, at this point, don't discount anything. Don't say, oh, this is valuable or this is not valuable. Just write it down, right? Do you know how to make a baby sleep? And by the way, there's a lady in the United States who has a digital ebook that teaches mothers how to make their baby sleep, who makes over $1 million a year selling that book, right? So do you know how to make babies sleep? Do you know how to help people cure certain illnesses, right? There's a guy, he's late now, called Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi was very famous as a herbalist. He's from, I think, Trinidad and Tobago or something. And he has lots and lots and lots of books teaching people how to overcome a lot of illnesses without necessarily going to hospitals and buying lots of synthetic drugs. Right? Do you know how to do videography? That's another big one. Lots and lots of young people want to create content. They want to be YouTubers. They want to be as famous as Jake Paul and Mr. Macaroni and all of these other guys, right? But they don't know how to create content. They don't know how to use cameras. They don't, if they know how to use a camera, they don't know how to set shutter speeds, right? And exposures and all of that stuff. So if you know how to do that, now that is something valuable that you can sell to people like that. Do you know how to help kids learn? I have a young mentee of mine who has a business teaching parents how to help their kids learn faster. Now, you would think that parents spend all of this money, thousands of dollars every single year, sending their children to private school, and you would think, that solves all of the problem. No, it doesn't, because some children are not really, really good at learning effectively in structured environments. So this guy has a business where he teaches kids using the internet, and this guy is smashing it, literally smashing it, right? Every month this guy does anywhere between 15 and $20,000 every single month. And this guy doesn't stay in the United States. He doesn't stay in some rich country. He doesn't come from a privileged background. He lives in Nigeria, right? And he does this all the way from Nigeria. I have another mentee of mine who also lives in Nigeria, and he does about $20,000 a month teaching kennel owners how to sell dogs from their kennels. Now, I thought I had heard the last of it. I mean, I've seen people sell all kinds of different things, but when he showed me what he was doing, I was literally blown away. So, kennel owners are people who sell pets, dogs. So, he teaches people who sell dogs how to sell even more dogs, right? How simple can that be? So, what is it that you know? You write it down, write everything down, and this is going to take you quite some time. So don't rush it. Take your time, write. What you do is you write everything, pen and paper, old fashioned way, write everything down. When you write everything down, what I need you to do is I want you to take every single thing that you've written down, and I want you to go to Google, right? And type Google Ads, right? When you type Google Ads, it's going to show you a link for Google Ads. Click on it, and you ask you to create an account. Create the account. When you create the account, you have a Google AdWords account. It's called AdWords, right? So basically, what it means is that you have created an account to allow you advertise either on YouTube or on Google Search or on Google Display Network, basically to advertise on all of Google's properties. But we're not starting advertising right now. What we're doing right now is we want to validate our idea. So when you create that account, open a new tab immediately, and the next thing you do is you search for Google Keyword Planner, right? You want to make sure that you're logged into the account, then open a new tab, search for Google Keyword Planner, and then you're going to see the link right there. When you click on it, start taking all of those things that you write and start plugging it into the keyword planner and hitting search. Because Google is going to show you exactly how much searches are coming from your country for each of those keywords. And if any of those keywords have at least 1,000 searches a month, you leave it on your list. If it has less than 1,000 searches a month, you cross it off your list, right? So you do this. So even if you have 50 keywords, 50 ideas that you've written down, take each and every one of them and plug it into the Google Keyword Planner and see how many searches that Google shows you that particular phrase is getting. So maybe at the end of the day, you're going to be left with maybe 10, maybe 7, right? So now we have 7. And the next thing you do is to ask yourself, okay, now of all of these ideas, which of them am I in tune with? Which of them do I gravitate more towards? The reason you want to do this is because you're going to be working on this long time. And you want to make sure that you're working on something that you are certain you are going to enjoy doing for a very, very long time. You are going to enjoy researching on it. You're going to enjoy writing about it. You are going to enjoy making videos about it. You're going to enjoy literally dipping yourself into the subject and immersing your entire self into it. So you look at this 7 to 10 options and say, which one exactly am I interested in more? So in my case, right, off the top of my head, I've been doing this for a long time, so I already know. So I love sales and marketing, real estate, right? I run an e-commerce, right? And then of course I'm a Christian, so unashamedly, right? Love religion and Christianity specifically, right? Christian. So religion, e-commerce, real estate, sales, and marketing. Now, I also love travel, but I don't want to create anything on travel because I just like the traveling aspect of travel, right? Staying in hotels, eating good food, going around different places, but I don't want to do the business of travel. You get what I'm saying? So I have one, two, three, four, five things that I really, really love doing. And I'm already doing one, two, and three, right? This is personal for me, really, the religion thing. So, sales, real estate, marketing, run a hugely successful real estate company for years, and then later close it down because I wanted to focus on other things. Currently, run a very successful e commerce business. And of course, e commerce, to run it successfully, you have to know everything about sales and marketing. So, if I want to sell anything, right now, all I need to do is to either sell something around e-commerce or real estate or sales and marketing, right? So let's say I pick real estate. If I search for real estate in Google, just like I explained to you, I'm sure there's going to be tons and tons and tons of searches, right? So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to say, okay, now people are interested in real estate. What aspect of real estate are they really, really interested in? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the next thing, right? The next thing is to now basically drill down. So I'm going to drill down by taking that chosen topic and now going on Facebook and going on Instagram and looking for pages and groups on Facebook now. Look for groups where people who are interested in that topic gather. So I'm going to search for real estate and then you put your country. So I live in Nigeria. So I say real estate Nigeria. And then I see all of the real estate groups that are specific to Nigerians. And then I'm going to join every single one of those groups. Doesn't matter to me whether there are 50 groups, 100 groups, doesn't matter. Join every single one of them, right? If you don't want to do that with your personal account, create a new Facebook account and join with that Facebook account. So what you then do is, follow all of the conversations, right? Each of the Facebook groups, for example, has a search button. Click on the search button and type in your topic again, type in real estate, and you see all of the questions that people are asking about real estate. And you begin to notice that there are questions that are consistent. You see, there are questions that people are asking repeatedly. And when people are asking repeatedly about something, it is because they have a problem with that thing. And I have done this so many times before. So I know that for real estate, one of the biggest issues is how do I make sales? How do I sell properties? How do I go from selling 0 to selling 2 a year? How do I go from selling just 2 a year to selling 20, right? How do I become a successful real estate broker? So now that we know that people want to learn how to sell real estate, so now I can now start creating something around selling real estate. So I have come down to the exact thing I'm going to sell. Okay? So now that I have this, What do I do next? What I do next is I begin to figure out how to create information around this. Now, this information can be obviously, just like I said at the beginning, in form of a book, it can be in form of a video, it can be in form of one-on-one. You talk to people one-on-one and advise them, right? It can also be audio. Now, you might be asking and saying, but I've done all of this stuff. Or what if I do all of this stuff and I still don't have a topic because I don't know much? So what you do is, you see those Facebook groups, you go on Facebook, you go on Instagram, and you find somebody who is knowledgeable in that thing, and you tell them that you are going to partner with them, right? Because many people are really too busy doing the thing that they don't have time to sell it to others or to teach others or to show others. Now, the next question might be, oh, if they are very successful at it, or if I'm very successful at it, why teach it to others, right? So let me ask you this question. If doctors are very successful being doctors, why do we need more doctors every year? Why do we graduate thousands of them every year around the world, right? It's information. People want to learn things. And as long as people want to learn things, there will always be people who will teach it to them. It is what it is. You can't change the way of the world. It is how the world works. So if I know something and I know that I can set up a separate business teaching that knowledge, then I'm going to do it every single day of the year and twice on Sunday. All right. So there's no question of, oh, if you do it, there's no need to sell it. Actually, if you do it, you are the right person to sell it. If you know it, you are the right person to sell it. So basically, that's it. So when you have your topic, the next thing is to start putting it together. And thankfully, this is 2025. This is not 2005 when I saw the Brian Sher book. So this is 2025, and 2025 is the year of AI. So all you need to do is to take this topic and go to your favorite AI's website and you plug in this topic, right? You plug in this topic and ask AI to write you a full, concise book, write or create the info. So ask it to create the information around this topic. So you create the information on the topic of selling real estate. Now, if you're selling this for people in your country, you have to tell the AI to create the training specific to the people that you are targeting, the people in the country that you are targeting, because real estate rules and methods and laws work differently country to country. So you have to remember that. All right. So you write it out and you use AI. Okay. So you use AI to do it. So you can use Chat GPT, you could use Cloud. I mean, there are so many of them. There's Perplexity and so on and so forth, right? So just go to Google again, and I mean, that's a wonderful site, and type AI that will help me write my information product. You're going to see a ton of results, and you can actually even use a number of them and see the outputs that you get from a number of them. Now, here's the thing with AI. If you use AI, please don't just take it as is. You have to now go through it and now add your own knowledge because you already know this thing. You just want AI to do bulk of the work for you, right? But we are not leaving it up to AI 100%. So what we're going to do is that we're now going to go through the documents that AI has created for us, and then we're now going to edit and add. We'll cut and remove, right? So we do all of that until we have something concise. Now, when we have something, the next thing we're going to do is we are now going to decide which format we want this information to be in. So again, let's talk about the format. And it can be physical. So if it's digital, your cost of production is literally zero, right? If it's physical, of course, now you have to take it, print it, put your name, put the dedication page, and all of that. Basically, make it look like a real book. Okay, which of them do I favor? Doesn't matter. I have print books, I have digital books, but I've created more digital books than I have done physical books. All right. The next format is video. So these videos could be videos that you host on YouTube I host my videos on a website called Bunny. YouTube is free, but Bunny is paid. But I like Bunny because it gives my videos a lot more protection that I could ever get from YouTube. So that's why I use Bunny, right? The third is audio. Again, you could use YouTube and Bunny to do the same thing. And then the fourth one is live. So you do it live. So you do it via seminars or do it via webinars. So let me explain what this is. So a seminar is a live presentation that you give in person, face to face. The audience is seeing you, you are seeing them. All of you are in the same physical space, right? The webinar is the same thing. The only difference is that you are doing it online. So everybody is in different countries. I've done webinars from where people logged in from as far as New Zealand, right? Australia. I have had someone in Brazil. All of that, right? They just come log in at the exact time that I'm presenting the webinar live and then they attend. So that is the subtle difference, right? So you could do it as a book, as video, as audio, or live in person, right? So another format is consulting. So consulting is where you are actually selling this one-on-one to people, right? So I have my video guy here with me. So I could do consulting with him and I say, hey, I can help you take your video skills and make 10 times what I pay you, right? But I need you to pay me $2,000, for example. And of course, if he sees the value in it, he's going to give me $2,000. Now I'm going to sit down with him one on one and then show him exactly what to do. So that's how you do that. Okay, so now I want you to notice something. You see, we started from a book and then we stopped at consulting, right? Now, consulting can be one on one. Consulting can also be in group format. So instead of just consulting one on one with someone, you could put them together as a group, a small group, and sell the same thing to them. But everybody in that group has to want the same thing, right? Great. So how much you make is dependent on the format. Now, I know that's intriguing, but it is what it is. That's how it is. So let me explain. The ebook is the lowest form of delivery. Is the lowest form of delivery, right? Anybody can do a book. Not everybody can do consulting. So the further down you come this way, the more money you make, right? So the more money you make, and over here we have just this. So the further down you come, the more money you can make. The reason is because this requires not as much effort as this requires. So it's the book and then audio video, because a lot of times people actually combine these two, right? So that's why they call them courses, right? So they combine these two. So I could charge, say, $20 for my book, but for a video course, I could charge $297, right? For a live session, I could charge $2,997 because the further down you go, down this table, the further down you go, the more involved you have to be in doing the delivery and actually creating the results that the buyer wants, right? If it's a book, I can just put out a book and people will buy it and then implement on their own. If it's a course, now I have to sit down in front of a camera and actually just do the delivery and talk and talk and talk for hours, right? And I'll probably have a Telegram group also where the buyers are going to be in, or a WhatsApp group. I'm sure you guys have probably bought courses, so you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, if it's a live training, right, I have to be there in person. I have to be right there to do it. I can't do it anytime and send it to you, just like with a course. I have to be involved. And It means that you can ask me questions, I can answer, right? And all of that. So that's why the cost a lot of times is a lot more. Now, consulting now involves a lot more personal time investment because now I have to now take out my personal time and go work with this guy and sit down with him for a number of days or maybe weeks or sometimes months, depending on the structure of the consulting gig, right? So, which means that if I'm doing consulting, I'm probably going to charge $20,000 here because it's taking me a whole lot more time. Please, I need you to understand that these prices are just examples. You can charge whatever you like, doesn't matter, right? But just bear in mind that the more involved you are and the more sophisticated the delivery method is, the more you have to charge for it. And the more the buyers are willing to pay you, right? So once you have your format and you've decided which format you want your course to be in, right? Once you've decided the format, the next thing to do is to now start selling it. So you put it in that format and then you start selling, right? So we have number 5, sell it. So we start to sell it. And how do we sell it? Now you can literally just go to your social media pages and say, hey, I have so and so book, come and buy it. But I kind of suspect that it might not do well unless you are very, very popular and you are very, very well known, right? So you have to use what we call a sales funnel. Sales funnel. So a sales funnel is basically a structured path to take somebody who doesn't know you, but who is interested in what you have to say. You lead them through that structured path until they come to a conclusion that they have to buy what it is that you have for sale. That's basically what a sales funnel is. So here's how the sales funnel works. So we have sales funnel here. So the sales funnel starts from an advert and then it goes to what we call a landing page. It goes to what we call a landing page. Then it now goes to maybe a video or a text-based sales letter, and then it goes to a checkout form, right? Order. It goes to an order form. So basically, this is a sales funnel. So people view an ad, so you have to create an ad or a post that you make on social media, right? It has to be intriguing. Again, I'm going to do videos later in the future showing exactly how to do each of these parts, but I just want to explain basically the concept to you. So you write an ad, or it could be a video also if it's not text, and you lead people to a landing page. Now, what the landing page does is that it basically reiterates what you said in this ad and then invites people to give you their contact details so that they can learn more, right? So over here, we ask for their email and then we ask for their name. And in some cases, we ask for their phone. So they can't move forward until they give us this. So once they give us this, basically this puts them into what we call an autoresponder. Now, an autoresponder is an online service that helps us stay in contact with these people through these details that they have given us. All right. So they get automatically added to this autoresponder once they submit this, but then they are redirected to this part of the sales funnel. So the funnel can be a video. It can be a video sales letter, which is why we call it a VSL. So this is now a message that you have written selling your product, right? Selling your air, so to say. So it can be in video format or it can be in text format. So if you don't want it to be video, you can just make it text. And then at the end, there's a button for them to buy. So they click on that button to buy. And when they buy, they get redirected to an order form where they now put in their card details or they do a transfer or however you are collecting the money from the thing. So basically, this is the a short Cliff Notes version of what a sales funnel is. And the moment they buy, the next thing is delivery. So you have to now deliver what they bought from you because the sale doesn't stop at when they buy, it continues, right? So you have to deliver it. So if it's a book, then of course you have to send it to their email. If it's digital, or if it's physical, then you have to mail it to them, right? If it's a video course, obviously they get added to a member area where they can access the video or audio training, right? If it's live in person, right? You are just talking and then they hear and then they take notes. Very simple. If it's via webinar, right? Again, you are talking, they are listening, they take notes, but then you give them access to the recordings. Access to recording. All right. And then if it's consulting, consulting is basically you giving advice. So the how much you charge depends on how much involvement you are doing with the consultant. So sometimes it's just straight up advice and they go and implement themselves, or you might do the implementation yourself for them. If you are doing the implementation for them, obviously you are going to charge more for that. So basically, these are the 6 different ways that you can use to sell thin air. We're going to have more videos in the future where we break down each of these steps and go into more details and show you exactly how to make this work. But I want you to understand that if you learn how to sell thin air, if you learn how to make money out of thin air, you are never, ever, ever going to lack for money. This is a guarantee. And my biggest goal is to help you get to that point where you're able to sell as much thin air as possible. And when that begins to happen, basically, what it means is that you have found one surefire way to make sure there's always money in your pocket. So I hope you like this video. If you like the video, right, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel. We are a relaunch channel, so we're growing. So share this video with your friends. If you have any friend that you've been telling, hey, people are going to pay you for this thing that you talk about all the time, then you should show them this video, right? So thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna see you in another video. Cheers.